Hi everybody, Kat here. Welcome to my channel. Hope you're having a great day. Let's get started. Harry and Meghan have to go. Not 15 minutes after the Queen put out the announcement that only working members of the royal family were going to be on the balcony for the flyover, the opening ceremonies of her festivities, Meghan and Harry responded after months of waffling. Are they going to come? Are they not going to come? Oh, yes. Now that she's announced they're banned from the balcony, they're going to show up. It's just like them. All they love is conflict and causing trouble for everybody. Had they wanted the Queen to meet the children, they could have come at any time when it was a quiet time, have a nice family visit, but oh no, they've got to come when hustle and bustle, London, the royal family, everybody's going to be busier than they are all year, even at the point where the Queen, considering her health situation, may not appear on the balcony. She's not going to be attending the garden parties, and she may be not very visible in the different activities going on. This is the time that they decide to show up. Now, they're not going to be on the balcony for the trooping of the color, the flyover, the original first festivities. But one would bet that they're going to raise a stink and try to get on there. However, at the closing ceremonies, they will be or could be. That has not been ruled out. So, no doubt they want to be on that balcony at some point, get that Netflix shot. That's money in the bank for them. The Palace has said that, the Netflix crew isn't going to be allowed around. Well, they can be in the crowd with long lens cameras just like everybody else. All those shots are taken. They are going to be present, you know, and they're going to be on the balcony. I wonder if we're going to see another shoving match between her and Anne like we did that one time before. She tried to sidle up closer to the Queen, and Anne just kind of elbowed her out of the way. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. But that's what we have to do with them. They need to be elbowed out of the way. Meghan and Harry are never going to stop causing problems. No matter what they're given, no matter what concessions are taken to appease them. When you're working with tyrants, appeasement doesn't work. And just like back in the 30s with the King Edward at the time, the Duke of Windsor, and Wallace Simpson, it's kind of playing out the same way. They were causing trouble. They were interfering with the king. He wanted to have a role. The king did not want him to have a role. See what was happening. It wasn't all about Wallace. What we hear is, oh, he abdicated because he loved her so much he gave up the crown. Well, that's sort of airbrushing history. That's not exactly true. At the time, Wallace and Edward were both Nazi sympathizers when Hitler was starting to make his moves through Europe. And at the time, there was a group of sort of champagne socialist elitists in England that were all for appeasement. And so was Edward. And as well, so was Winston Churchill, to be honest. And the plan was Hitler had told Edward, if you let me do what I want to do, I'll basically reinstall you as a puppet king or as the leader of the country, figurehead kind of a thing. And in fact, Churchill at the time was in support of this and in support of Edward sort of starting his own political party, like a People's Party kind of a thing. He was all for it, and he was for the appeasement of Hitler. Now, between leaders of the church, other political leaders, they saw what was happening, and they needed to get Edward out, basically. The story of him and Wallace, well, by the time that he was um, king, he'd already been dating Wallace for like 5 years. So people in the know knew all about it. The public didn't really know about the crisis till, a week or two before he abdicated. They had no clue that he was dating a married woman. Well, by this time she was divorced, twice divorced. But they used that as an excuse to the public to get them out. But behind the scenes, there was a lot of political wrangling. And they basically gave him no options and forced him out. But even after that, as he was, forced to leave, he kept trying to interfere. Um, the king, Queen Elizabeth's father at the time, was very distressed because Wallace and Edward were after him for, oh, we need more money, you have to give us a bigger stipend. And they did this for 2 years till they discovered that Edward was quite richer than he put out. He was not crying poor in exile. He had all the money that he had earned from the Duchy of Cornwall. He had money from selling, I think, a house. I can't remember which one. But, they were not a problem. Not a problem. The king put them in Jamaica or the Bahamas. I can't remember which one, but as an ambassador there. And he even got in trouble there. He got in some wranglings and legal issues, and it was all kind of shady. You can look it up, it's pretty interesting. But they were trouble from the get go. And after about 2 years of this, the king had to decide to cut them off completely, ban them from ever coming back to England so that they couldn't get a foothold. They, you know, they weren't in the limelight any longer. And they ended up having a quiet, pretty depressing kind of life. They were shut out. But given what Harry and Meghan are doing, they're not going to stop. You know, they've been given money by Charles. They've had every allowance they've asked for, they've gotten. And we're all wondering why the Queen hasn't put her foot down yet. And I think part of the problem is she remembers back to the time of the abdication and how hard it was on everybody and how troublesome everything became. And she probably doesn't want to go through that again. But there comes a time where you have to put your foot down and do something. Harry and Meghan aren't going to stop unless they're stopped. And honestly, I think they have to be banned from England. They have to be cut loose, do what you want. You're no longer part of this. Take their titles away completely. The HRH is only in abeyance. They haven't removed it from them. That's got to be removed. Their titles have to be removed. He's got to be completely excised from the royal family, him and Meghan. That's the only way the royal family is going to get any peace. You're not going to have Meghan and Harry coming back and say, oh, gee, we were such boneheads. We're so sorry for the last couple of years, and let's just pick up where we started, where we left off. Not going to happen. As long as they're allowed to, they're going to be causing trouble from here to the end of time. It's never going to end because that's the kind of people that they are. And so, in my opinion, yeah, the titles have to be taken away completely. Any money they're getting from the crown or Charles, anything like that, has to be cut off completely. They've got to be banned from England. They can't just pop over for a balcony shot when it suits them. They've got to go and they've got to be gone. Will the Queen do this? Will Charles do this? Nobody knows. But all I know is as long as they keep playing into their hands, they're going to have nothing but trouble. Have a great day, everybody. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.